guys, I am Nu-Trix the Synth Guy, and today we're talking about the Polyend Tracker. It's a tracker. That's where the name comes from. Now, if you don't know what a tracker is, I did a video about what a tracker is. It used to be a software to play back samples in a way that, I mean, is basically the ancestor of a DAW, if you want. When samples were kind of the lightest thing you could do to create a sound, and recording audio was a hard thing to do. Trackers were great, and there's a style of music that went with that, and glitchy music is really popular with that. And there's many ways that a tracker can be surprisingly inspiring and different in the way you work. So I decided to learn more about how the tracker basically works. So I'll talk to you about what I did and how I kind of play around with the Polyend Tracker and what I learned with it. I'm not an expert in the tracker world. I'm getting into it, so I mean more for people, you know, learning how this works than people who already know and want to glitch more, let's say. I basically decided to do a song. So I'll explain how I built that song and what are the cool little features, part of it, that are cool. There's actually a firmware update. You download it from the website and then you copy it to your SD card, put it in, and then in configuration you go firmware and you read the firmware 1.3. Cool things, there's more features in it, there's more control over MIDI, but there's just a fun thing that they added, games. You can actually play games on it. So you can play, you can play these games. Yes, sir, I'm good. Will I get it? Will I do it? Will I be able to do it? Am I? Yes! Yes! I got it! So, let's actually come closer and I'll talk about the song I worked on and how I approached it and what features I learned by doing so. So I'm going to go and load the song that I worked open. It's called Alive Aftermath. I love these automatic renaming. It's just like a fun thing to do. So loading project. When you start a song in this, first of all, you're in pattern mode first. So when your patterns are ready, you make them into a song. So I'm into pattern mode, and you've got these information at the bottom here. The length of your pattern is 128 in this case. And when I enter stuff, it's going to move one step, it's just going to jump to the next one step. But it could also say, every time I enter a value of something, it will jump to the next, is going to jump 4 steps. So you can, if I enter a kick now, it's going to be kick, kick, kick on every 4 step, which is like traditional 4/4 to the floor. So bring that back to 1. So I'm just going to skip to the next one if I do it. If I want to hear something that is there, just press preview. It's not going to change anything. And the second information, the first one is note, second one is the instrument. So these are the different instruments that are sampled. If you press on it, you've got the list of different sounds here. So these are the one you have. You can have access to them here. This is used as a controller to select here. So a quick way to switch. And note, well, these are the notes you can play. And then you've got effects. I've got none on this one, and we've got effects too. So effects, as you should remember, these are not they're not sound effects or processing, if you want. You've got overdrive, fine-tuning LFO, position of the LFO, delay send. Yes, you can send to the delay. So it means that you could have just one step sent to the delay or sent to the reverb. You can change the value of the low pass, band pass, and high pass if it's also assigned to something in the instrument. You got tuning, and then what's cool also now you've got MIDI control, MIDI C, and you've got the information here, and you have to look in the manual. But I mean, you can use MIDI control change to affect different parts of it. But what I really love about this are the one on top here, stuff like chance and roll. And chance, what's cool about chance is that it will say the chance of a step for being played. So it means that if you have that in your song, like these sounds here, I've got a lot of chance here, okay? Chance 4, there's only 4% that this note will play. Actually, there's no note, so it won't play. This one, only 4% that it will play. So this loop can play over and over and over, and this one will not hear most of the time, but sometimes it will. 38, so this one sometime will work. And the N is for random note. So the note can be just random. So those who are 0, they will not be random. 31, they will. So on top of that, this part here will change. Actually, I'm going to make you listen to this. If I want to quickly select and just hear this one, I know it's track 3, so I'm going to mute all the other ones. And I have 3. So that's the sound, and all the little changes are about all of these values here, and that's really the cool part of the tracker. I'm going to also unmute this one, because this one is more for my kick. Okay, so I combine with this. I've got my rhythm coming. So I decided to have another one, this one, which is mostly hi-hat, but with bizarre, noisy, so you go, okay, well, what did we just heard? Well, this one here. We have this one. So this one is distorting on one side. But this one is also chance 40%. So 40% for this to play. So there's a lot of chances that it will not play. Hi-hats, and then 12% for hit to play. So again, a lot of times it will not play. That's why every time you listen to it, it only plays sometimes. You see? 10% for it to play. See? Only these times. So when I press play, it means that this loop again is changing a lot. And these sounds are not always playing at the same time, at the same place. And also here, these are P's, but then these are C's. These are all chances. And the P's are, press on P, these are panning. So it will move that hi-hat from left to right. Okay? So that's that other track. And that's really cool because when we play these together, it means that you can loop that maybe 3-4 times, and it's always changing. So this is cool. So you've got that I would say general structure that is always the same, but there's these kind of evolution or changes that you have all the time, which is, I find, one of the coolest things you can have with this right now, in my mind, at least in my book. So let's actually listen to the track number 5. Track number 5, you've got these sounds here. Again, some of these kick, but my logic is that these sounds, these tracks are not supposed to play all the time, all together. I made a lot of tracks, and then I decided to cut them out, a little bit like muting them, and then that's how I built the song. So this one is like this. And you hear that, that's the E. E is for the bit depth. So you get that distortion and it changes. So as the number is lower, the bit depth is noisier. And again, you get chances. So some of these only appear sometimes, and some will play sometimes. That's it. So that's my track number 5. Track 6, in this case, do I have something here? I have this. So track 6 is made of a sample, if I'm not mistaken, that I did myself. See, so this is 50% of chance of playing. So it means that these sounds play only half the time. So you can play back, but it means they play enough. So once on, every second time, it will play. And these are basically a voice. If I go back to sample playback, this is the sound, if I'm not mistaken. So I did record that off the radio, like you go sample record.
Le contrôle des voies maritimes, l'Outaouais, le Saint-Laurent, empêcher les...
That's it. So you go take the radio, because there's a radio tuner, you record it, and then you go into sample playback, sample editor. I chopped it up. I just kept that little part, and then I stretch it, because that's a new one. You've got time stretch beat, and you've got normalize it, of course, and there's time stretch note, and that's the one we hear. That's this thing going. And then I put a lot of delay on it, and that's why when you go back to the track, you got. Remember, it plays half the time. So that's my kind of organic sound, I would say. So that's pretty cool. The evolution can be really interesting in this one. And the last one, well, you've got track 7, and this one has been cleaned up. I'll take another pattern. Now, if you want to switch patterns, you see now I'm in pattern 8. I'm just going to click here, and I can go up or down. I'm going to change in real time. Actually, I'm going to go unmute everything, and you'll see. So I did these changes. So that one, the first one, was the one with everything in it. So if you play that, it's got too much stuff. That was way too much. What I did was working like this. Okay, I felt like this, but maybe this. Kind of mute and unmute stuff. And the last one is a kind of a guitar, kind of fake guitar track. It's a little clean, not guitar, but high-pitched stuff, and then a lot of delay, and there's a LFO on it for the filter, so it opens up. So these are my, I would say, raw tracks to play with. Then I copy them, so it's quite easy. I'm gonna again unmute everything. Actually, I'm just gonna keep the last one muted. So what I did, you go into more, and all of these are grayed out. You can't use. You press record, and you got copy pattern. So you copy the pattern here, go into more pattern, go to the next one, and then you would go more, and you would paste it. You would copy the pattern here. So I did that, and I copied from pattern 1 to pattern, I don't know, here you go, 13, about that. And then I went into each track and said, I'm going to mute this, and I cleaned it up to be able to hear what was happening. So there's a couple of quick ways to go in this. So if you want to select, let's say I'm going to do something. I'm going to go back to pattern 1, more, I'm going to go copy, more, pattern, so I don't know, pattern 20. I know there's nothing there. And I'm going to more, I'm going to go paste. So that's my pattern. Now, if I want to clean up a track, let's say I don't want to keep, let's say, if I will, no, cancel. If this one I will not play. This I will mute it in the track I want. So what I'll do, I stop this. It's easy. I'm going to go Shift Ohm. It goes to the first at the top. Shift, and I press the arrow top twice. This selects everything. No, I don't. I just want to top one. So I'm going to take the entire track here, and I'm going to note. I'm going to go delete. So I'm deleting all the notes. So that track now is empty. So I can just select the one I want. I say, well, let's say I want to Shift top, this one, and this one, delete. No track anymore. And I'm going to go Shift this one, track. So if I press play, I only have 3 of them playing. If I want to be sure, I'm going to master. It shows me that the one with the light coming up are the one playing. Everyone else is not playing. And if I want to change the volume, of course I can mute and unmute, but if I can press on it, I can actually change the volume right away. Okay? One cool thing that I was not able to enter into that song is the fact that you can now use the MIDI out. Well, not just now, but you can use the MIDI out, and you can use these tracks to control an external synth. So what you can do is you can actually take, let's go back to pattern, let's say track number 8, unmute, and I want to add the instrument, but then the instrument is not in the list of sample. You go after that. And at one point you go into MIDI. Here you go, MIDI channel, let's say channel 3, because I know that the synthesizer I have here, I'm going to connect it here at the back. There's a audio in line in. I'm connecting it to the audio in. So I can do delete all of them. And delete all of that. Yeah, let's enter, no, let's, I want to use M3. So right now, I'm actually sending the MIDI information to my SH01A, and I'm sending the SH01A back into the line in. So I can actually enter back. Now keep in mind, these are not velocity sensitive. Not velocity sensitive, for what I understand. No, not. I haven't figured out a way to make it work with that song, so it's not there, but it's a cool thing. I didn't know how to make it work, so now I know, and so it works. Just then you just would have to record. And again, one cool thing here, just to go back into making that clear for everybody. Let's say I want to enter my notes at every, let's go more, every 3 steps. And then it's going to be at every 3 steps, I'm going to be able to record that note. It jumps 3 steps. Go back, you see? Every 3 notes, every time I enter a key, it's just going to jump 3 notes. And if I press play, oh, it's the beginning of something I can actually make something out of it. But it wasn't meant to be for now, so I'm going to mute that. So now it's muted. Now this track is not sending MIDI anymore. Okay? So then when you have all your tracks, not your tracks, but your patterns, you have all of them, and then you're ready to play, or you want them to combine into a song, you go into song, and you have all your tracks. So the first one, you add more slots, basically. So you put into record mode and you go add slots. You add more. So I added one at the top. I don't want that. Delete that slot. But you say where you want it, and then you add a slot basically here. So it's kind of an insert if you want. I'm going to delete that one. So you just add the amount you want, and then you go, let's say slot 1, pattern 2, and then with these you select which pattern you're going to load basically. Oh, I want to play pattern 2, I want to play pattern 1. So pattern 2, I only kept the track number 1, I erased everything else. Track 8, well, it's the MIDI track I'm not using right now. And then track 3, I deleted not track 3, but pattern 3. I deleted these tracks so I can actually see they only have track 2, 3, and 5. And at the same time, I clean up some of the tracks, and then I build like that the evolution of my song. And that made me a song. I'll play the song at the end for those who want to stay on the end and listen to the song. But the logic is this. I mean, of course, if you just want to listen to one pattern, you say, well, play pattern. So you're playing this one in the loop. Now that part feels like you're playing a little bit like Ableton Live. You just put the whole strip, basically. So it's just like easy to switch. And if you just want to play the song from where you are, press play. If you want to loop the pattern, you loop. You see the looping here. Stop looping. So very, simple and efficient. It works well. When this is done, you go, well, I like this, but I want to mix this. I want to produce, finish, and export that. You would go into File, and you've got Export. And then Export, you can export the song as stems, or the pattern as stems. So I'll do the export as stems, but it's taking a lot of time. This is very long. So that's it. That's the Polyend Tracker. Getting more into making a full song out of it. I'm going to continue learning this thing because it's just really, it's a fun piece and it pushes me to think in a different way when I create, which I really enjoy because it forces me to get outside of my comfort zone. And I need that. If not, I'm just going to make the same old music over and over again. That's it, guys. Stay safe. Make more music. See you soon. Cheers.